Hello there, very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to this edition, the weekend edition of Primetime News. We are coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Bringing you the news tonight, I am Joel Outskoon. Let's start off with a look at our headlines for this evening. President Maithripala Sirisena comments on the security detail of the former president.
මගේ ආරක්ෂාවට එකම හමුදා බටෙක්වත් නැහැ. නමුත් මැතිවරණයෙන් පැරදිච්ච හිටපු රාජ්‍ය නායකයා තියෙන ආණ්ඩුව පරාජය කරන්න රටවටේ රැස්වීම් තියන්න යන්න ආරක්ෂක හමුදා දීලා තියෙනවා.
Investment status given to Port City has been guaranteed, only change in the government's investment policies. Prime Minister tells reporters in China. Sri Lanka given green light by the IMF.
තව සුමාන දෙක තුනකින් අපට ජාත්‍යන්තර මූල්‍ය අරමුදලේ ඒකේ සම්පූර්ණ ලැබෙන්න තියෙන ප්‍රමාණය අපට ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන්.
Police must focus its attention on the Sri Lankan companies mentioned in the Panama Papers. Statement by the Deputy Minister Ajit P. Pereira. Starting off with some news from the President's diary. President Maithripala Sirisena, speaking today in Bibila, commented on the allegations raised on curtailing the security detail of the former president.
The discussions that are placed before the media is the curtailment of the security detail of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Have you ever heard from anywhere in the world a person who was defeated in the elections heading home in a government helicopter? On the morning of the 10th of January 2015, I gave Mahinda Rajapaksa 2 helicopters to travel to Tangol. Can anyone in this country step forward and tell me, has there been any instance in the world where a defeated head of state been allowed to select the preferred officers from the military of the country for security and head home and engage in politics? Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa had a security detail of 226 personnel from different ranks from the army and the police. Former President had also taken with him the latest bulletproof vehicles that were brought to the country. During my 1 year and 3 months in office, I had not imported any bulletproof vehicle, and I am currently using the vehicle that was used by the former President, and I could have made a telephone call to retrieve them. If I told the army commander to bring back the troops, he would have done so. What are they saying? I have been in office for 1 year and 3 months. I do not have any military personnel in my security detail. However, the defeated head of state is using the military security to go around the country to hold meetings in order to defeat the government. Is there any place in the world where such things are taking place? A president like me should be there for that. What if I was defeated and Mahinda Rajapaksa was president?
මම පැරදිලා මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා ජනාධිපති විදියට හිටියා නම් පැරදිච්ච මට මොනවෙන් හම්බ වෙයිද?
What will I be given? Will I be given helicopters to go home? Will I be given to select the military officers for my security detail? These are matters for what you must question your very conscience. Who is right and who is wrong?
කවුද හරි කවුද වැරදි කියන කතාවේ.
Prior to concluding his official visit to China, Sri Lankan Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe responded to questions posed by journalists at a media briefing in China. The main focus was on the Port City project in Sri Lanka.
Port City is a part of a bigger plan, our megapolis, of turning the western province into a megapolis of 8 million people, the biggest city in the Indian Ocean, and there will be more opportunities for infrastructure development by Chinese and other companies in the megapolis itself. Hambantota becomes more in line with Shenzhen, and it will be integrated into the harbour areas and the industrial areas, the airport and the industrial zones and the tourist zones. So we are looking at a new mechanism for Hambantota. The Port City project is an investment project, and the investment status given to Port City has been guaranteed. We are not changing it, though we are changing our investment policies. What has been given to the Port City has not been changed, and the Port City is an investment project. But we do have a high level of debt, and because of the present global economy and the fact that our revenue collections are low, and we have to diversify, we also diversify our export earnings. We've been talking with some other companies and also the government of China, the possibilities on some instances of infrastructure projects becoming public-private partnerships, in which obviously part of the debt will become equity held by the Chinese companies. But that's in keeping with our policy that many of the infrastructure projects of the government will be on a PPP basis or a BOT basis.
Meanwhile, Minister of Housing and Construction Sajid Premadasa commented on the visit to China.
This visit to China was instrumental in bringing about a revolutionary development in the whole of Sri Lanka. In the past, there were white-collar failed projects. The visit to China led by the Prime Minister was aimed to revive these failed projects into successful ventures that would generate employment opportunities and also bring in flights and vessels to those respective areas and contribute to the large-scale development of the country.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, who is on an official visit to China, placed floral tributes to the monument to the people's heroes in Tiananmen Square.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was escorted to the monument to the people's heroes in Tiananmen Square by a special motorcade last evening. Following the Prime Minister's arrival, the national anthem of Sri Lanka was played by the brass band of the People's Liberation Army. Following a guard of honour, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe placed a wreath at the Tiananmen Square Memorial. The monument to the people's heroes is a 10-story obelisk that was erected as a national monument of the People's Republic of China to the martyrs of revolutionary struggle during the 19th and 20th centuries. The monument has an estimated height of 37.94 meters and covers an area of 3,000 square meters.
And on to a headline-making story this evening. Finance Minister Ravi Karunanayake upon his return to the country today commented on the response received from the International Monetary Fund on aid provided to Sri Lanka.
The Finance Minister spoke to reporters following his return this morning after attending the IMF Japan High-Level Tax Conference for Asian countries organized by the International Monetary Fund and the Asian Investment Forum, which was held in Hong Kong.
I would like to give my sense of gratitude to the IMF for the discussion that we had in Japan, and with the conclusion of that you have the team that is in Sri Lanka. We would basically on Monday discuss as to the eventual facility that the Sri Lankan government would be obtaining. In the same while, we had very successful discussion with the government of Japan. You would be seeing in the next 2 weeks that there will be a team flying into Sri Lanka to tell us as to how and what we would be basically being given, and I'm informed that it will be very favorable. Now is to get moving with the economy and ensure that the hardship doesn't come on the people. We must be innovative, able to drive and get new ideas coming into the system.
In more local news this evening, the Ronu Shakti Entrepreneur Development Exhibition commenced today.
The Entrepreneur Development Division of the Ministry of National Policy and Economic Affairs organized the exhibition, which was graced by State Minister Lakshman Yapa Abewardana.
In the future, there will be no expansion in the public service. I must clearly mention that there will be no recruiting public servants who are not in service or any new recruitments. We have reached the maximum. Like other countries in the world, we too have to face the real global economic situation. The IMF instructs us to have proper management. They say that we need to maintain the budget deficit at 5%. That is when the World Bank and other financial institutions will provide us with funds. Therefore, we need to have management.
ලෝක බැංකුව අනිත් රටවල් ආයතන සල්ලි දෙන්න. ඒ නිසා අපිට සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙනවා අපේ කළමනාකාරීත්වයක් ඇති කරන්න.
General Secretary of the United People's Freedom Alliance, Minister Mahinda Amaravira, called on the Mahanayaka of the Askari chapter of the Siam sect today.
Following his arrival at the Askiri Mahaviharya, the minister called on the Mahanayaka, the most venerable Varakagoda Sri Gyana Ratana Thero, and obtained blessings. Thereafter, the minister responded to questions raised by reporters regarding the SLFP May Day rally. We believe that we can have this May Day together. We are in discussions with the other parties. We will not let go of our attempt. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party supporters are aware as to who will benefit from the split of the party. They are also aware as to who will gain if the party is together. If the party is split, that is a betrayal to the party. I believe that no one will betray the party.
පසුගිය සභේ නව පක්ෂයක් සම්බන්ධයෙන් තිබෙන විශාල සබ්ජෙක්ට් තිබුණා. නමුත් මේ වෙන විට ඒ නව පක්ෂ සම්බන්ධයෙන් කිසිම සබ්ජෙක්ට් නැහැ. ඒක නේද කොහොමද?
ඒක ඉතාමත් හොඳ තත්ත්වයක් නේ.
This is a good situation. There was a group that was pleased with the rumors of the creation of a new party. The people know who they are. The creation of a new party and the split in the SLFP benefits the United National Party. As members of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, we are pleased that the voices calling for that are no more.
A special meeting organized by the Ranaviru Seva Authority took place at the auditorium of the National Youth Services Council in Maharagama.
The event was held to brief 273 war hero circles attached to the Ranaviru Seva Authority. Chairperson of the Ranaviru Seva Authority, Anuma Fonseca, Secretary of Defence Karuna Senehetiarachi, injured war heroes and the families of fallen war heroes were among those present.
As a country to move forward, we need to have international relations. Therefore, we need to install a good administration in the country. The law needs to be enacted to all without any difference. In the recent past, there was an issue over the discovery of a suicide vest. In 2013, 18 such vests were discovered. I have the details. During the first quarter of this year, the number of firearms discovered exceeds 10,000. If one says that this is a threat to national security, we must note that this shows that national security is secure than ever.
And on developing story tonight, police have raided the El Salvador offices of the Panama-based law firm at the heart of the Panama Papers scandal that has revealed how the rich and the famous slashed their wealth offshore.
El Salvador's state prosecutor's office said on its Twitter account that the raid on San Salvador officers of the firm Mossack Fonseca netted, quote, a good amount of computer equipment, unquote. No arrests were made. Authorities in El Salvador announced they had launched a probe to see if the Salvadorans identified in the Panama Papers reports had broken any law. Reports said some 33 Salvadorans were named.
In related news, it was reported that 3 Sri Lankan companies with 3 clients and 22 shareholders have been listed in the Panama Papers report. Ajit P. Pereira, the Deputy Minister of Power and Renewable Energy, commented on this, speaking in Bandaragama today.
Over 11 million documents from the Mossack Fonseca firm in Panama have been leaked. 2,000 of those documents are pertaining to companies registered in the Seychelles. In the recent past, there was much interest in investing in the Seychelles. Banks are open in the Seychelles with direct lines. Family members of the elected in the country too commence to have transactions with the Seychelles. 2,000 leaked documents are related to companies registered in the Seychelles. And the people can understand why some went there in the first place. We have received information that some Sri Lankans too had transactions with the Mossack Fonseca firm based in Panama. The responsibility of uncovering these persons lies with the police in the country.
Your life, our news.
The Dambulugiri Aurudu Siri New Year celebrations organized by Newsfirst and the collective of volunteer organizations in Dambula was held throughout the day in the Mahayaya village in Dambula.
Dambulugiri Aurudu Siri.
The Dambulugiri Aurudusiri New Year Festival commenced at an auspicious time and was presided over by a group including Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Organization Limited, Shivan Daniel, executive officers, other invited guests and many others.
We all should work together with peace and harmony as a nation, and that is what these Aurudu rituals teach us. We were able to successfully carry out the event due to the endless support given by the Mahasangha, voluntary organizations, state organizations, and especially the Newsfirst team.
Newsfirst කණ්ඩායම ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ හැම ප්‍රදේශයකින්ම කොළඹට ඇවිත්
The Newsfirst team is a team that hails from different parts of the country gathering in Colombo, devoid of religious and race differences and engaged in reporting news that are out of the ordinary. The new year is days away. this is not only going to be a new year, but a new opportunity. This gives us a new opportunity to look into the village, the town and the country. So why did we come to this small village called Mahayaya for this New Year celebration? It is my belief that News First lives in the people in the village. Therefore, without any fear, we can visit any village spread across Sri Lanka and dine and enjoy with you. We know that you embrace us with love. That is the best accolade that we can be given.
ඒක තමයි අපිට තිබෙන ලොකුම සම්මානය.
The Dambulugiri Avurudhu Siri New Year Festival saw the participation of many.
ඔව් ආරම්භක සංඥාව ලැබුණා ක්‍රීඩකයින් එක ගොන්නට තරගය ආරම්භ කරන ආකාරය ඔබට දිස්වන්නේ.
Mja Singha won the bicycle race that saw the participation of many national level cyclists compete in the 100 kilometers event. We have with us the winner of the male cross village race. You won the first place in the race. What are your thoughts on this victory? I am glad to have participated in this competition and become the winner. The marathon too saw the participation of national level runners. The female marathon was won by DBL Anuradhi. The Dambulugiri Avurudhu Siri New Year celebrations, which had a prominent place for traditions and norms, had many colourful activities that grasped the attention of those who were present. The Newsfirst staff also took part in some of the exciting activities.
Newsfirst Dambulugiri Avurudhu Asari started off today at Mahayaya in Dambulla. Now we had a variety of events today. We had cycling, marathons, then fun eating competitions, balloon blasting competitions for all age groups and for everybody who have come here to Mahayaya in Dambulla.
Events such as climbing the grease pole, pillow fighting and many other exciting activities caught the attention of the youth in Dambulla, who participated in the events actively. Events mainly dedicated for children also caught the attention of those present.
Apuru Bakmaha Uleka Kemi Siri Asiri Samagi over Brahma Apuru
Dambulugiri Avurudhu Siri.
Well, still in more local news, the Inspector General of Police presided over an event to appreciate the service of police officers in Colombo today. The event took place at the auditorium of the Criminal Records Division and saw 140 officers and several civilians being presented with prizes and certificates. Among the felicitated were the officers who steered the investigations on the murder of a foreign woman at a hotel in Tangol and the officers who investigated the 3.5 billion rupee VAT fraud, the largest of such tax fraud to take place in the country. 19 million rupees had been allocated for the distribution of prizes and prizes worth 12 million rupees were presented. The remaining prizes will be distributed at provincial level. This is the final award ceremony that I would attend during my service period. What we need to do is to encourage the officers to prevent crime and solve crime. The benefits should be enjoyed by the people. Well, now several road traffic accidents were reported during the past 24 hours.
A lorry transporting vegetables was knocked by a train at the unguarded railway crossing in Handiwata, Habaraduwa. 2 persons were injured in the incident. Police said that the accident took place this morning and the train was travelling from Mathura to Colombo. The driver of the lorry and the gatekeeper who were injured were admitted to the Karapetya hospital.
This is an unguarded gate. This is made out of wood. This is how this piece of wood is placed as a gate. There is no gate on the other side. It's been over a year since the gate here was removed. We always travel on this road. This is a dangerous place to be. If there was a proper gate installed here, this accident could have been prevented.
A lorry transporting fish from Mana to Modore in Waligama veered off the road and met with an accident this morning in the Palana area in Waligama. No injuries were reported, however the lorry suffered serious damages. A pickup transporting vegetables and a bus crashed into each other in the Yagama area on the Dambulla-Matale main road. 3 persons were injured and they were travelling in the pickup. The injured were residents from Nuwara.
On a somber note this evening, the final rites of the late mother of Ranjit Simbalapitiya, the Minister of Power and Renewable Energy, took place today.
This afternoon, President Maithripala Sirisena visited the residence in Vandala, located in Karanawala, to pay his last respects to the late Kusumavati Manike. Ministers, MPs and many others were present to pay their last respects. The funeral took place at the Dehiovita Public Burial Grounds.
And news in schools rugby after nail-biting and exciting encounters. St. Thomas's College Mount Lavinia defeated Royal College Colombo to clinch the Michael Gunaratne Trophy. Today's game between Royal College and St. Thomas's College in the Inter-School Rugby League was played for the Michael Gunaratne Trophy. The game, played at the Royal College Sports Complex, saw the home team lead 10-7 at the half whistle. However, the tables turned in the second half when the Thomians posed a serious offence on the Royalists. Until the 9 minutes, Royal College led the game 15-14 and were on the verge of winning the game. A late try and successful conversion by the Thomians changed the story as they won the game 21-15. The game between St. Anthony's College, Katugastot and St. Peter's College, Bambalapitiya was played at the Nittavella grounds in Kandy. St. Anthony's College led the first half 11-7, but St. Peter's College, Bambalapitiya played an offensive game in the second half to win the game 21-11. Well, to keep abreast of the latest and trending stories, you could log on to our award-winning website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. On that note, we wrap up this edition of Primetime Weekend News. Thank you very much for stopping by. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Joel Outschool. Take care and good night.